Some pretty incredible news coming out in just the past hour. We are hearing that Biden has now quietly, they're saying secretly, ordered the United States to begin preparing for nuclear threats from China, Russia, and North Korea. Now, this coming out from the New York Post just an hour ago. This is coming out all over the headlines. As always, this is going to be linked in the description below. And here's another one from The Guardian that's saying Biden has now approved a new nuclear strategy refocusing on the threats coming from China, Russia, and North Korea. This coming out as of today, just about an hour ago. And this is coming out all over the news media headlines. Now, in addition to that, there was a whole lot of talk about nuclear war with Biden and Russia back in November. And it looks like in the past hour or so, a lot of this is resurfacing. Biden's new nuclear bomb compared to the bomb that was dropped by the United States on Nagasaki. And Biden had bragged that his bomb that they were working on was multiple times more powerful than what we had seen before in the last World War, and said, we are ready. Now, in addition to that, it was at that same time that we had heard Russia come out, Putin saying, don't forget that Russia, we are the greatest nuclear force on earth. And at that time, we had heard that Putin was reminding us that he was withdrawing from the treaty banning nuclear tests for their nuclear weapons. And we also had heard them say that they were considering changing their nuclear doctrine as they were feeling the threat, they were saying, from Ukraine, NATO, the West, the United States. And they said that they are ready at any time. They said they stay ready for nuclear war. Now, in addition to that, speaking of Russian President Vladimir Putin and the threat that is being posed, we have just heard in the last 24 hours. Let me know your thoughts on this. Putin says that he has decided that Russia is going to be the, quote, safe haven of the world for anybody that wants to escape the liberal West. He said, if you are sick and tired of the liberal society that the West is now creating and allowing to unfold, well, he said, come join the ways of the Russian moral values. That is right. Russia saying they're going to be opening their borders to anybody that wants to escape liberalism and come join Russia. Man, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you agree with Russian President Vladimir Putin? Is the West, the United States, Europe, are they getting too liberal? Well, he's saying if you're sick of it, come join us over here. Now, in addition to that, we're also hearing, like I said, that the United States, in just the past hour, it is being reported across news media headlines, is also preparing for potential nuclear war. And it is coming from what we are now hearing being released is the threat coming from Russia, China, and North Korea. Now, like I said, I'm going to be sharing with you the latest headlines. As always, these are going to be linked in the description below, so you can go ahead and see the same articles that I am reading directly from that have just come out, so that way you can see it for yourself. Now, before we dive in, do me a quick favor. If you appreciate the updates, keeping you up to date on all of this, the threats of potential nuclear war, what we're hearing is happening behind the scenes quietly with Biden approving preparations for nuclear attacks. If you appreciate these updates coming out live, take a quick second for me, hit that like button. There's about 1,423 people live with me in the room, 278 likes. If I could get half of the room to hit the like button, that would be awesome. Helps spread this out further. If you appreciate the updates, just takes a second, helps out a ton. Also, to stay up to date, you guys, it's totally free. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button. Just takes a second. Turn on the notification bell. Make sure you're staying subscribed. For some reason, a lot of people getting unsubscribed from the channel. We're not sure why. We think it has to do with some of the settings in YouTube. Make sure you are staying subscribed to the channel so that way you guys can know exactly what is going on. And in addition to all of these articles that have come out in the past hour being linked in the description below, I'm also going to have for you links to resources if you are trying to prepare, get your family ready, lists of items, also free resources below as well, including if we should have EMPs hit or just have some sort of power grid failures, step-by-step guides of what to do, totally free. Also, if you or somebody that you love needs medications, medication kits, linked down below, and also join the newsletter. It's pinned in the description, www.steveramnews.com. But I see we've got 1,530 people live with me in the room, 500 likes. Thank you for all that support. Let's go ahead and get you caught up on the latest. Now, this first one coming out from the New York Post. And again, this coming out a little bit over an hour ago. This was just announced Biden secretly orders the United States to begin preparing for nuclear threats from China, Russia, and North Korea. Now, the article says that President Joe Biden has just signed off on a highly classified plan to shift America's nuclear strategy to focus on China as a major nuclear threat to the United States and to prepare for the possibility that the communist nation could team up with North Korea and Russia against the United States, according to a new report. Now, Biden made this shift back in March because the Pentagon believes that China's nuclear arsenal, it will rival the United States and Russia. The New York Times reported on Tuesday today, citing their sources. Now, the new strategy is called the Nuclear Employment Guidance and also readies the United States for a possible coordinated threat between China, Russia, and North Korea, the newspaper reports are saying. So, man, let me know your thoughts. They are saying that China is beefing up the process of which they are preparing their nuclear arsenal. But that's not all. They're saying it's not the threat of China alone, but they're saying all of our enemies are coming together simultaneously to work as one, China, Russia, and North Korea, in nuclear attacks potentially against the United States. So they are saying, yes, the U.S. is the second largest nuclear power on Earth. Yes, they are the greatest economic power on Earth. But they are saying, let us all team up together so we can take down the United States unified. Now, in a pair of recent speeches, two senior administration officials, they have hinted at the growing Chinese nuclear threat. The president recently issued updated nuclear weapons employment guidance to account for multiple nuclear-armed adversaries and, in particular, the significant increase in the size and diversity of China's nuclear arsenal. Now, they said this last month when they were the still acting Vipin Narang, Assistant Secretary of Defense, was in place. Now, my office has begun to provide the department and the Joint Force updated implementation guidance on how to plan and posture our forces in this new environment. He also added during the speech that the U.S. hopes that China engages responsibly on nuclear issues, including transparency and risk reduction, which Washington officials have repeatedly raised with rival nations. National Security Council Senior Director for Arms Control and Non-Proliferation, Pranay Vadi, also referred to the top secret document back in June. The Times reported the new game plan would focus on the need to deter Russia and China and North Korea simultaneously, coordinated working together, they said. So again, this just coming out in the past hour from the New York Post. These reports, they're saying, have come out just today. Now, in addition to that, here's a little bit more information coming out from The Guardian. And this one says, again, coming out just a little while ago today, Biden has now approved a new nuclear strategy refocusing on the threats that are being posed against the United States from China. It says revised policies come as China builds up nuclear arsenals and Putin threatens to use weapons in Ukraine. Joe Biden has approved a new U.S. nuclear strategy to prepare for possible coordinated nuclear confrontation with Russia, China, and North Korea, according to the New York Times report that was published on Tuesday today. So again, additional confirmation. So that is why in just the past hour, you guys, we are seeing all of these headlines that are starting to come out just right now. They are saying that it has been posted by the New York Times. There is a report that was just published. The United States is preparing a new nuclear strategy for possible attacks and threats coming from Russia, China, and North Korea, coordinated all as one. The deterrent policy takes into account a rapid buildup of China's nuclear arsenal, which will rival the size and diversity of the U.S. and Russian stockpile over the course of the next decade, and comes as Russian President Vladimir Putin of Russia has threatened to use nuclear weapons in Ukraine. Biden approved the revised strategy called the Nuclear Employment Guidance back in March, according to the Times, but an unclassified notification of the policy change has not yet been presented to Congress at this time. After years of nuclear arms reduction efforts, the administration has been signaling willingness to expand the U.S. arsenal to counter China and Russia's nuclear strategies more recently. Now, in February, the United States warned allies that Russia could be planning to put a nuclear weapon out into space. Now, we had heard that before, and I had shared with you guys that one of the major concerns with this is that would be step one in a potential nuclear attack. I actually have discussed this in detail. This is strategic war. This is not something where they just simply launch a missile hoping to hit the United States. They know that we will detect it, our defenses will take it down, and as a result, we will then be justified in a retaliation to attack Russia back. This is not checkers, this is chess. So the first thing that they must do, they're thinking about launching that nuclear weapon out into space. The purpose of that is to align it with our missile defense satellite systems. So that way, that would be the very first thing that we would know if we are going to nuclear war. They would try to take out our missile detecting satellites. Once they have those down, we can rest assured that there is likely going to be attacks coming. So that is step one. So that is why there was such a major concern back in February of nuclear weapons out in space. And they're also saying that we don't even really need nuclear weapons out in space. It's overkill. And there was a lot of concern that was going on, you'll recall, back in February with the announcement of Russia releasing those potential nuclear weapons out into our orbit around the Earth. How many of you guys remember that? Now, on Tuesday, the Times reported that two senior administration officials, they had earlier been permitted to allude to the revision in U.S. nuclear strategy without disclosing its existence. In June, Pranay Vadi, the senior director of the National Security Council, warned that absent a change in nuclear strategy by China and Russia, the U.S. was prepared to shift from modernization of existing weapons to expanding its arsenal. And we've been hearing this ever since the talks back in November, the United States acknowledging the fact we have got to change our nuclear strategies. Otherwise, our enemies, they're going to be unifying. We cannot keep up with the pace at which they are moving. So they are saying this has been a concern. Now, we have not heard much on this for several months. It's been a while. Now, just in the past hour, this being released across all the news media headlines, they are saying that Biden has secretly, quietly come out and said, yes, there is a major threat from these nations unifying. We need to go ahead and change the nuclear strategy. We need to get ready. We need to be prepared in case they decide to take action. Vadi also alluded to the highly classified document, saying that it emphasized the need to deter Russia, the PRC, or the People's Republic of China, and North Korea simultaneously. That comes as the last major nuclear arms control agreement with Russia, New START, that sets limits on the intercontinental range. Nuclear weapons expires in early 2026 with no subsequent agreement in place. Now, in addition to that, if you missed it in the last 48 hours, we've also heard that there could be an announcement that Iran could be a nuclear power by the end of the year. They believe that also they are loading up, preparing, potentially getting their nuclear arsenal set as well. So all of the enemies of the United States, it seems at this time, unifying, saying we can't take them down alone, the United States, we can't take them out, but what we can do is unify together, and the United States acknowledging this threat. These reports coming out in just the past hour. China and Russia are now more politically and economically aligned. Last month, China and Russia's long-range bombers patrolled together near Alaska for the first time and held live fire exercises in the South China Sea. So again, we had seen that happening over in Alaska. China and Russia coordinating, working together as one. The second administration official permitted to refer to the document, Vipin Narang, an MIT nuclear strategist who served in the Pentagon, said earlier this month that Biden had issued updated nuclear weapons employment guidance to account for multiple nuclear-armed adversaries and for the significant increase in the size and diversity of China's nuclear arsenal. It is our responsibility to see the world as it is, not as we hoped or wished that it would be. The Times quoted Narang as saying, "It is possible that we will one day look back and see the quarter century after the Cold War as nuclear intermission." Wow. So there you have it, you guys. This coming out in just the past hour. And again, these are coming out across headlines, all sorts of them. All you really got to do right now is look up nuclear war, nuclear bomb, U.S. nuclear, and you're going to see this coming out just in the past hour or so all over the news media headlines. And like I said, back in November, We actually heard a lot about this. Biden talking about the new nuclear bombs that were prepared and ready for war should there be a threat. And they compared it to the previous bombs that were dropped in Nagasaki during World War II. They said these are multiple times more powerful. Now, despite that, we had heard reports that Russia is still the greatest nuclear power on Earth with more weapons and more powerful nuclear bombs than anybody else as well. And Russia saying that they are ready at any time. Now, and again, this coming out in the last 24 hours, Russian President Vladimir Putin saying that Russia is now going to be the safe haven for people who want to trade their liberal Western ways for Russian moral values. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you agree with Russian President Vladimir Putin that the West is becoming too liberal, too wild, and that you would prefer to do some morals, more morals? He's saying Russian moral values as a safe haven in communist Russia. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Listen to these bullet points. Putin signed a decree that Russia would welcome foreigners wanting to escape Western liberal ideas. This coming out just yesterday, you guys, August the 19th, 2024. Applicants may include those from countries unaligned with Russian spiritual or moral values. The application process has been simplified, and visas may be issued as soon as next month. Russia, in many ways, an authoritarian state, has designated itself as a, quote, safe haven for citizens of Western countries looking to escape the destructive and neoliberal ideas. So if you're somebody that's, I know there's a lot of people saying that they're sick of America and all these things. Well, hey, here's your opportunity to get a one-way ticket to Russia. Russian President Vladimir Putin has signed a decree that Moscow would assist any foreign nationals wanting to apply for temporary residence in Russia outside the quota approved by the Russian government and without providing documents confirming their knowledge of the Russian language, Russian history, and basic laws. Russian state media has reported as of Monday yesterday, people interested in temporary residency may apply for visas through a simplified and expedited process. Russia is expected to begin issuing 3-month visas as early as next month. Applicants, they can request residency based on the rejection of what the decree describes as their home countries. Destructive neoliberal ideas, which it says differs from traditional Russian spiritual and moral values. Russia is expected to produce a list of which countries are going to be included in this exception. TASS, T-A-S-S, said it in a report on the new decree. Now, some far-right figures and conspiracy theorists celebrated news of the new policy in a manner that aligns with the growing online trend, particularly among certain far-right personalities, of praising Russian society and comparing it positively with the U.S. and other Western nations as well. Praise for Russia has been a common occurrence among some prominent figures on the right, including former President Donald Trump, who has often spoken positively about Putin. Others have parroted Russian talking points, while others have celebrated some of the elements of Russian society. Now, this one coming out from Business Insider, you can tell they're kind of skewing it a little bit to the left, kind of taking a little jab there at Trump. But you guys, let me know your thoughts. Absolutely incredible. Russia saying, hey, if you are sick of your side, if you don't like your government, if you want something that's more conservative, more moral values, and you're tired of all the liberalism of your nation, well, we are opening up applications to take you into Russia if you want to come join the Russian side. Wow. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And this coming as we are hearing that we are edging closer to war. This announcement coming out in just the past hour, now coming up on 2 hours from the United States, that Joe Biden has just quietly, they said secretly approved preparation for nuclear attacks. They are concerned about the threats that are being posed at this time with the unification of China, Russia, and North Korea against the United States, you guys. So absolutely incredible news coming out. This all going on while the world is watching the DNC. Man, let me know your thoughts. Do you feel like this is a distraction? Like the DNC is going on, the world is watching what's taking place there, and they're saying in the background, Joe Biden is over here approving preparation and changing the nuclear strategy for the United States to prepare for potential war with China, Russia, and North Korea. Is this a distraction? Is this something that, why is this not being given more attention? Why is it coming out during the DNC? And like I said, this all just coming out in the past couple of hours. Man, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, in addition to that, I see we've got 2,287 people live with me in the room. 1,134 likes. Could I get another 70 likes? That would put us at 1,200. That's about half the room. That would be awesome, you guys. Just helps spread this out further. Also, if this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not hit that subscribe button? Turn on that notification bell. I also saw we've got some members of the community here in the channel hitting that join button. Thank you so much for those contributions, those donations monthly. Not necessary, but greatly appreciated. And as a result, you will get all of these articles I'm referencing in your feed. I'll just post them there for you. But if not, totally fine. You'll still get access to them. They'll be linked in the description below. Christopher Brock, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says NATO and Ukraine using chemical weapons today in their Russian invasion. Wow. Yeah, things are definitely heating up. We've heard that the war with Russia and Ukraine taking a turn. Ukraine making progress into Russia, actually heading towards, I believe it was a nuclear power plant. And we're hearing that Russia, taking into consideration, is this a threat against our sovereignty? Do we need to combat that with nuclear attacks? There's a lot of talks about nuclear attacks now and war. Just coming out in the past couple of days, things are ramping up. Ingrid Stewart says, you are awesome and amazing, Steve Ram. Thank you for the information and the news daily. You are very welcome. And thank you so much for the kind words. I will continue to keep you guys up to date on everything. Thank you for keeping us in the know. Your dedication on this channel, says Joanne Bowling. You are very welcome. Myrtle Beach is with you, Steve, says Jerry White. Get ready, says LaDonna. Christopher says, peace, peace. James says, hit that like button. Thank you for that, James. I appreciate the support. Ben saying, yes, sir, with the American flags and the arms flexed. Life is surreal right now, says Sonic Cleaves. Yes. And like I said, whatever unfolds, though, I will keep you guys up to date. Now, in addition to that, we have got potential attacks coming against the United States. We've heard with cyber attacks. We've also heard that the southern border, wide open, people pouring in. There's threats of potential coordinated attacks from sleeper cells that they believe are already here in the United States. Now, in addition to all of these and the conflicts taking place in the Middle East, we also are now receiving this word of potential nuclear attacks. That could be an issue. And as we've shared in here, the process of likely what will unfold, a nuclear weapon being detonated in the air would release an electromagnetic pulse or an EMP, which could wipe out any electronics. Anything that is an electronic device could get fried, and you will lose access to everything. So they wouldn't even necessarily need to have a nuclear bomb hit the ground and cause, a massive wave of destruction. All they really need to do is just get one in the vicinity of the nation in the air, detonate it, and that alone will wreak so much havoc if we lost control of the power grids. So absolutely incredible, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And again, all these articles just coming out in the past roughly hour and a half, 2 hours now on this announcement. So this is news just coming out today, August the 20th, 2024. With updates on potential nuclear war, nuclear attack, nuclear strategies changing, and whatever unfolds, though, I will be sure to keep you guys up to date so you know exactly what is going on. His name is Yayas, says Matthew 24:32, Israel 1948 is greater than World War III, which is greater than the Judgment Day summer. Thank you for that. His name is Yayas. I appreciate the $2 super chat, and thank you for sharing that. I will continue to keep you up to date here on the channel on whatever unfolds. And yes, we have heard, if you haven't heard the latest update regarding Israel and the Middle East and what is going on there, which is directly tied to the United States. As a matter of fact, you'll recall back in November, speaking of nuclear bombs and attacks, it was suggested by Israel that if necessary, nuclear weapons could be used against Hamas. Now, when they said that, it really got attention in the Middle East because it was Israel revealing their access to nuclear weapons. And I think it's pretty much known that Israel has nuclear weapons. We just don't know how much or to what extent. They really keep their nuclear powers under wrap. But what we have heard just in the past roughly 48 hours or so is the response, the retaliation that is likely going to be coming from Iran against Israel for the assassination of the Hamas leader and the Hezbollah leaders. They said that it might get drawn out. Now, we had heard that they were trying to do a peace treaty between Israel and Hamas, that they were trying to do some sort of ceasefire in exchange for the hostages. Well, we heard the United States came in as a mediator. They had proposed something. Israel said they approved. They have presented it to Hamas. Hamas has said they do not approve. And Hamas has come out and said the agreement that was provided by the United States, all it does is show the bias of the United States towards Israel and their Zionism. So Hamas has rejected that, and they are now saying that at this point, it looks like it is impossible to reach some sort of an agreement, and it looks like war will continue on, and it could escalate with the attacks that could be coming from Iran. Now, however, we've also heard that the attacks that could be coming from Iran to Israel, that those could get drawn out even further, a much longer delay. And here is why. They are saying that Iran is saying that a lot of officials over there, even the president of Iran is saying that they are not prepared for war. They said that if they attack Israel, even if they hit them or don't hit them, Israel has said they will attack them back with an unproportional response. So if you hit us, we're going to hit you 10 times harder. Iran is saying, realistically, they are not prepared for that. Their defenses are not ready, and their economy is not ready for a long, drawn-out war either. We're hearing that the president of Iran is asking the supreme leader, please reconsider the extent of which we respond, because if we do this, it could devastate the nation of Iran, our economy, and it could take us a long time to recover if we go into a war or a long, drawn-out war. So Iran seriously thinking about whether or not, how it is they're going to be responding. Keen, thank you for the $2 super chat. Says my last $2. Oh man, thank you for the support, Keen. And I appreciate that a ton. Sorry, I hope that is not actually your last $2. His name is Yahya Has. Says those were arrows, Messiah's name in the old Hebrew. Oh, thank you so much for that. I appreciate the clarification, and thank you for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that a ton. So like I said, though, I will keep you guys up to speed on everything that's unfolding as we're hearing conflict is increasing in the Middle East with Israel and those various proxy groups, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, with Iran. We've also heard that Turkey, Lebanon, Yemen, there are various nations all surrounding Israel that are saying that they want to destroy Israel. They want to end the war. They're calling for a ceasefire. We actually heard this in the DNC from Kamala Harris, from Joe Biden, saying, end the war. But Israel saying, what about our hostages? What about protecting the nation of Israel? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think that Israel should fight on and that they should go ahead and continue to try to eradicate the threat of these terrorist groups? If you think so, put a 1 in the comments. If you think no, ceasefire now, like we are hearing from some of these other nations in the Middle East, put a 2, like we have heard from Joe Biden at the DNC, which is actually, a lot of people are saying double speak. Biden, man, kind of trying to appease both sides, saying that we need to come to a ceasefire agreement, yet at the same time saying we're going to support Israel. And that is why at the DNC, let me know if you've seen it in the comments down below. Put yes if you've seen it, no if you haven't. We're hearing that all at the DNC in Chicago right now, they have put fencing up because there are massive protests against Joe Biden by those that are pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas, that are saying that they need a ceasefire. They're saying that Joe Biden is supporting Israel and Zionism. Let me know if you've seen that. Yeah, so a lot of people saying no. But yes, what is going on right now is there are massive protests taking place in Chicago. The streets are flooded with people showing the Palestinian flag, saying that they need to cease fire now, and also blaming Biden for supporting what they're calling is the war that is going on in Gaza. So it is pretty nuts. And a lot of people saying it's Biden not deciding which side he wants to support, kind of trying to appease both sides, calling for a ceasefire, yet at the same time saying we need to defend our allies. So, man, a little bit of a mixed message there as to what to do. But Yeah, so we've got that conflict going on. We've got the threats coming from China against Taiwan, the United States right in the middle of that, Russia, Ukraine as well. There is a lot going on here. And we're going to be seeing, and this coming out, like I said, the breaking news in just the past 2 hours or so now, that Biden has now officially ordered quietly, secretly, the United States to begin preparing for nuclear threats from China, Russia, and North Korea. This coming out August the 20th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so roughly 2 hours ago, from the New York Post, another one from The Guardian, several other news outlets covering this as well. Prophetic Insights says, smash that like button. Thank you so much for that, Greg. I appreciate that. Yes, it helps spread this out further, helps out the channel. I see we've got 2,333 people in the room with me live, 1,613 likes. If we could get another roughly 80 likes, that puts us at 1,700. Helps out the channel a ton. Also, to stay up to date, don't forget, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and also additional resources linked for you down below. And I saw all those ones coming in, people saying that Israel should have the right to defend itself, that Israel should continue on in the war to eradicate all of these groups that are trying to attack them, the Houthis, Hamas, Hezbollah. I did see a couple of twos, people saying that they need to do a ceasefire. Again, let me know. 1 means that Israel should continue to fight. You support Israel. 2 means no, stop the war, do a ceasefire. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Relinda Soul, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that a ton. And yeah, I'm seeing the ones coming in. I'm seeing a couple twos, but it looks like the vast majority of the room saying Israel should have the right to defend themselves and to continue on fighting until they eradicate the threat of these various groups. And also, a lot of people saying they need those hostages back. They said they need to get those people back that Hamas has captured. I will continue to keep you guys up to date on that. I see Shirley Scott showing those Israeli flags. I'm seeing all those ones coming in. I see his name, Yahya Shas, not Jesus. Israel is not doing what they say, fam, says his comment there. Canada is watching you, Steve, says Jeffrey Knox. Thanks for tuning in from Canada, Jeffrey. I appreciate that. Gray Ghost is saying Israel victory. I'm seeing lots of ones coming in. Bobby's got a 1. Eric El Wapo's got a 1. Christina's got a 1. I see 2s from Christina Yates. A lot of these pouring in. Albert S is saying not captured, kidnapped. Just to clarify. Jesse Anderson says, love watching you, Steve, from Ohio. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that compliment, and I will continue to keep you guys up to date so you know exactly what's going on. Peggy says, what do the numbers mean? 1 means that you support Israel defending itself, trying to eradicate these groups that are attacking them, the Houthi, Hamas, continuing on. 2 means you think that there should be a ceasefire now. That is what the 1s and the 2s are meaning. Prophetic Insight, Greg says, we must pray for Israel and the Middle East. Yes, if you are a praying individual, put a praying hands in the chat. Let me see all of our prayer warriors that we have here on the channel. I know there's a lot of believers, fellow believers here. Pray for our world, pray for our nation, pray for Israel, pray for the wars, pray for any of the people that are becoming victims. I know that sometimes it can become a Israel-Palestine thing, but anybody that is, in harm's way, any innocent children or anybody, pray, absolutely. Let's not forget that. I think that is highly important to pray for our world at this time. Look at all those praying hands. Thank you so much. Ram fam, you are amazing. Look at the community with all the praying hands. Please say a prayer for our world with everything that is going on. I believe that prayer works. I believe that what is intended for evil, God can turn for good, and that he will hear the prayers of his people and he will respond. In Acts, the Bible says that he had heard the prayers that were lifted up by Cornelius, and they were for a memorial prayer, which literally means almost like a layaway plan. You're praying, you don't get the response that you thought or that you're praying for, but you keep praying and it builds up and it's a memorial, and God will honor the consistency and the faith that you have continually in a memorial prayer. So that is real. That is a form of prayer that's mentioned in the Bible. So don't forget, if you're praying and you don't feel like you're getting a breakthrough, you feel like nothing's happening, you keep laying up those prayers. God will honor that. He sees that. So I totally believe in that. And I love seeing the praying hands coming in from the Ram fam. That is awesome. Let us continue to pray for our world, you guys. James Oliva Sr., thank you so much for supporting the channel. I see that star next to your name, becoming a member of the community, hitting that join button. I appreciate the support. You are awesome. So you guys, this coming out in the past couple hours, potential nuclear threats increasing from other nations against the United States while the DNC is going on and everyone is focused on what's taking place in Chicago. What we are hearing is that Biden has now quietly told the United States to begin preparing for nuclear threats coordinated together with China, Russia, and North Korea. So this is coming out across the news media headlines over the past 2 hours or so, just coming out. We're going to be seeing and Vladimir Putin letting the world know, hey, if you want to switch sides, Russia receives you. Putin says, if you are sick of the liberal West, come join the ways of the Russian moral values. He is now declaring Russia a safe haven for anybody that wants to escape the liberal West. Wow. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I will keep you guys up to date on everything. And again, do me a favor. Wow. We are just 40 likes away from 1,900 likes. We've got 2,247 people live with me in the room. If you haven't hit the like button, please do so. Help us to get over 1,900 likes. That would be awesome. It just helps spread this out further. I see Ryan saying, Ram, why I love you is your heart is true and unbiased. Thank you for the kind words, Ryan. I appreciate that a ton. Try to do my best to make sure that you guys get the latest news. And I just present it to you, link it in the description, and then you can go ahead and make whatever opinions or choices or decisions that you want. But I think that we should have the right to just be given the information and then make our opinions and decisions from there. I agree with you 100%. Can we just not get a biased spin? Just let us know what is going on, and then we can decide from there. Totally agree with you 100% on that. And we all have our opinions and our stances on things. I think, anybody that says like, oh no, I'm totally neutral like this, I think that's pretty funny, because I think that we all have various backgrounds and we all have our opinions. But do we have the self-discipline to be able to just share the honest truth? That's where I think that is something that people are seeking and want today, is let's get just here's the information, do with it what you will. So that's what I try to present here on the channel. And like I said, I cite the sources, link them down below, try to hold myself accountable to the community here on the channel. But you guys, that is the latest. I will keep you up to date as more information comes out. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, hit that like, but wow, over 2,000 likes. You guys are awesome. I appreciate the support. I'll continue to keep you guys up to date on everything. Hit subscribe to stay up to date. And thank you so much for all the praying hands. I appreciate that a ton. Pray for our world. God bless you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. This is Steve.